amazing. He was generous. Once he saw a man, non-Muslim. This man looked at the cattle of sheep that Prophet Muhammad owned. He said, yeah, what a beautiful cattle of sheep. He said, do you like it? He said, it's yours, take it. He was very generous. He was very forgiving. Once a man walked into the masjid and he was, imagine, walking to the leader of the society. Who's the head of the board in this masjid? Brother Kareem? Imagine you walk into him and you pull him from his shirt. Then, yeah, Sheikh, why are you praying 20 rak'ah? We need to pray 8 rak'ahs only. What will he do? Get out! No. A man walked into the Prophet ﷺ and he pulled his shirt. He told him, give me money. Give me some of the mal, of the sadaqah. And he made a mark in his shirt. Imagine what he did. He smiled to him and said, give him what he wants. He was merciful. He was a merciful father. Prophet Muhammad at a later age, after 2 of his boy sons died, many years later on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him Ibrahim, his son Ibrahim. He was so happy with Ibrahim. Imagine, in his 50s, and he has this baby with his hand, he got it. He was so happy, you know, he went to the doors of the companions. Abu Bakr, open the door. Did you see my son? He'll go to Umar, did you see my son? He was so happy. But then after a while, Ibrahim died. And Prophet Muhammad buried him. And he cried. And he told him, you're crying? You're crying, O Prophet of Allah? He said, إِنَّ الْعَيْنَ لَتَدْمَعُ وَإِنَّ الْقَلْبَ لَيَحْزَنُ وَإِنَّا لِفُرَاقِكَ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ لَمَحْزُونُونَ. My heart will get sad. And the tears going to come from my eyes. And I'm sad to let my son go. He was a very merciful. Read his characteristics. I don't have a lot of time to tell you about the characteristics of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. If you just go through these characteristics, you will love him. Beautiful, beautiful human being. With his friends, with his companions, with his enemies, with his relatives, with his in-laws, with everyone. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a great example of the ideal and the gentle human being. Why do we love him? We love him because of the way he treated people. Why do we love him? Because of the things that he brought to us. He brought to us Islam. Someone might not say, oh, he brought Islam. No, he brought to you Islam. This good way of life that's going to get you success in this life and the hereafter is brought to you by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But other than that, he fixed our lives. I like to say that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was among the first hygienists who came and told us clean and floss your teeth. I'm a dentist, I know that. The siwak, he used to do khalkhalat al-asnan. You know, he used to grate the dry leaves of the palm tree and he will go through his teeth before the salah. Flossing. He was a hygienist. He told us to wash ourselves 5 times a day. To take a shower at least once a week. In that time was a revolution. To take a shower once a week, that was a revolution. Nowadays in France, it's a revolution. But he came and told us how to clean ourselves. He was a sociologist. And he fixed the society. He told us how to deal with each other. You go to visit someone, knock the door 3 times. They didn't open, go back. In other words, he's telling you have prestige. When you go visit someone, make your visit light and soft. Don't make it short, don't make it too long. Have prestige. He was a psychologist, psychiatrist. I tell people, do we have a shrink in the house? We have a psychologist or a psychiatrist here, a doctor? No. If we have someone and we take them and we open a clinic for them in Medina Munawwara 1500 years ago, they'll go bankrupt. No one would need them. Why? Because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ fixed the mental problems and the soul problems. He told you what to say when you're upset, when you're distressed, what to say in the morning, what to say before you go to bed. It fixed our lives. He was a nutritionist. How to eat, what to eat, how much to eat, where to eat. He was women's rights activist. And sisters should love Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for this specifically. Why? Because he came in a time women were abused all around the world, in Arabia, in Europe, in Asia, and everywhere. Prophet Muhammad came and said, no. You know, when I go talk to churches and schools, I tell them Islam and Prophet Muhammad came with these rights for the woman. She had the right to choose whom she wants to get married. She had the right to inherit. She had the right to vote. She had the right to hold positions in government. All these things Prophet Muhammad and Islam came and taught us. Some of the non-Muslim women would tell me, so what? What's so great about this? We have it nowadays. I say, yes, but compare. 1500 years ago, how was the world? Islam came and changed that. So for those things, We need to love Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We need to love him for the things that we still need him here in the day of judgment. You know, in the day of judgment, Prophet Muhammad has a special fountain, Hawd. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it to him. If you drink a sip, we will line in front of him, by the way. And he'll put some water in his hand, and each one of us, inshallah, will have a sip from it. If you drink from the hands of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will never get thirsty afterwards. You know Sirat? That thin bridge over hellfire that we're going to go over to go to paradise? When each one of us is crossing, Prophet Muhammad is going to be behind you and making dua, Ya Rabbi Salim, Ya Rabbi Salim, Ya Rabbi Salim. Oh Allah, let them go fast, let them go in peace, let them go past the other side. So we still need them. We still need him because he's going to raise our levels up to the high levels of paradise. We still need him. Another reason for loving him, because he loves us back. You know that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before he died, he said, say salam to every one of my nation until the day of judgment. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling you, assalamu alaikum. You know Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he was sitting down with his companions and tears start coming out from his eyes. They told him, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? What's bothering you, O Prophet of Allah? He said, I missed my brothers. I miss my brothers. They said, aren't we your brothers? He said, no, you're my companions. My brothers are those who will come after me, believe in me without seeing me. So he called each one of us brothers and sisters of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and above that, he misses each one of us. Do you miss him back? Do you miss him back? Do you want to drink from his hands? Do you want to look at his face? That is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why the companions loved him so much. Abu Bakr cried from joy when he knew that he's going to be his companion in the trip to Medina. You know, all of us know the story of the ghar, of when Prophet Muhammad went in it and the spider or whatever. Do you know that Abu Bakr, he went into that cave? It was dark, it was scary, it was dirty. He started putting his hand in every single hole in the cave, making sure there's no scorpion or snake that would bite Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was laying down and he was sleeping, his head was on the leg of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr got bit by something. It was so painful, but he did not scream because he did not want to wake Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's how much he loved him. Bilal ibn Rabah, when he was dying on the bed, waiting to die, he's nowadays termed hospice. He started singing. وَفَرْحَتَاهُ وَفَرْحَتَاهُ غَدًا أَلْقَى الْأَحِبَّ مُحَمَّدًا وَصَحْبَهُ. What a good day, what a good day. Tomorrow I'm going to die, I'm going to go to meet my beloved Prophet Muhammad. Even the smaller companion that we don't know about. A young companion, his name is Rabi'a, he did something good to Prophet Muhammad. I know Prophet Muhammad asked him, ask me, tell me, I grant you whatever you want. The head of the state, the head of the society is asking him, what do you want? You know what he said? He was in his late teens. He said, I ask you to be your companion in paradise. Do you love him that much? Is that your goal in life? Is that your goal in the hereafter? Or you just want to barely make it to paradise? Don't you want to be with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Thawban, another companion who used to see Prophet Muhammad every day. He did not see him for a week. After he saw him, he started crying. And then after a while, he stopped crying. Then he started crying again. Prophet Muhammad asked him, what's wrong? He said, I could not handle being far away from you for 1 week. I don't know how would I handle being far away from you in Jannah when you're so high and I'm so low. Another companion who was a little bit chubby. He has a big stomach. So Prophet Muhammad was putting them in line once, and he's going back and forth with them and telling him, stay in line, stay in line. My stomach is sticking out. Stay in line, stay in line. So with his siwak, he pushed his stomach in. The man said, oh, you hurt me, Prophet of Allah. Uja'tani ya Rasulullah. Prophet Muhammad, what do you want? He said, I want it back. The companions went crazy. Like, what are you talking to the Prophet? Prophet Muhammad pulled his shirt out and said, take it back. The man jumped and hugged the stomach of Prophet Muhammad. He said, I felt I'm going to die today in the battle. And the last thing I wanted to touch before I die is you, O Prophet of Allah. Someone might say, MashaAllah, they loved him, they lived with him, they felt him. But for me, it's hard. I don't see him. I don't know how does he look. How can I love him that much? I'll finish with this inshallah. I'll give you some practical tips. If you apply it in your life, you will love him. You will acquire that love. Number one, every time you hear his name, say what? Sallallahu alayhi